When your sister was murdered, I'm sorry to hear that too. That's when you started your journey. Somebody else. Say it again. Why did you say when you were born? He said when he was born. That's when his journey began. Who agree with that? Why? You don't decide your journey. It's for, remember he said, I chose you, you didn't choose me. Everything that happened in your life was to bring you to where? To me. To me. When you was in the church, guess what? You were accountable for the things that you knew in the church. Did you know that? When you were sitting in the world and you knew you were wrong, you were accountable for the things that you were doing that was wrong in the world. You were accountable. Like I was talking to my wife about birth, she was fulfilling the curse that was given to the women way back when. That's when your journey started. So, being accountable for the things that you've done in your past stretch back way before you knew about Deuteronomy 28. Stretch back way before you knew about Matthew 5 and 17. Great. How many of us can then now say, well, I hold myself accountable for the things that I didn't know? Let's see what the law says. Leviticus chapter 5 and verse 1.
Leviticus chapter 5 and verse 1. If a soul sin and hear the voice of swearing, and it is witnessed whether he has seen or known of it, if he do not utter it, then he shall bear his iniquity.
Go ahead.
Or if a soul touch any unclean thing.
It said if a soul do what?
Touch any unclean thing.
He told you that the carcass of a swine, you're not supposed to what? Touch. So he says if you touch any unclean thing, read.
Whether it be a carcass of an unclean beast, or the carcass of an unclean cattle, or the carcass of an unclean creeping thing, if it be hidden from him.
If it be what?
If it be hidden from him.
If you don't know that you touched something that was unclean, what did he say?
He also shall be unclean and guilty.
You still guilty of it. Because those that perish without the law still are held to the standard of the law. Let's see what the next verse says.
Or if he touch the uncleanness of man, whatsoever uncleanness it be, that a man shall be defiled withal, and it be hid from him.
And it be what?
Hid from him.
He didn't know it, right? It's hid from him. He didn't know it was unclean. Read.
When he know of it.
When he do what?
When he know of it.
So now when you come into the knowledge of the truth, when you understand what went wrong, what happened?
Then he shall be guilty.
Now your sin is before you. Now you're still guilty for the stuff that you did before. Do that make sense? So when he says those that perish, those without the law, perish without the law, and those that abide by the law still get judged and perish in the law, right? That makes sense, right? So even though you didn't know it before, when it comes to you, like Paul said in Romans the 7th chapter, now sin is made known to you. You're still accountable for those things. But the problem with the children of Israel is we don't understand how to be accountable. So when a woman goes through childbirth, guess what she's supposed to think about? Darn that girl. Eve. Right? She wasn't accountable. Now you got to be held to that standard. Let's go back to Genesis chapter 3. Remember, he said, search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and there they was testify of me. Right? So that means we got to search the scriptures, and we got to see what's going on. Genesis chapter 3, pick it up at, what verse is that? Childbearing. 15? Yo.
16.
Verse 16, Genesis 3 and 16.
Genesis 3 and 16. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be unto thy husband, and he shall rule over you.
What do the pain in childbirth and the sorrow in childbirth have to do with Mashiach? Because remember, he said, search the scriptures to find out him, right? What do this got to do with Mashiach? Better yet, when was there ever a birth without pain? Was there ever a birth without delivering pains?
When they made epidural.
When they made epidural? Nope. When was there a birth and there was no pain? Go ahead. Say it again, huh? With Adam. He brought forth Eve, his wife, from his bowels. And there was no birth pains. Right? Y'all understand that? So the same way that he brought her forth with no pain, if she would have just did what she was supposed to do, she wouldn't have had no pains either. Make sense? Beforehand, Eve went off on her own and got from the tree. Now it's, Adam, can you go over there to this tree with me? I don't want to go to the grocery store by myself. Why you out all night? I know you got to work, but damn. Right? Before this took place, hold on now. Before this took place, before they didn't hold themselves accountable, there was a childbirth or a birth where there was no sorrow. But now women got to go through that. So now we have to figure out, what do this got to do with Mashiach? Right? Let's move on. Let's go back to, let's get Job chapter 15. Verse 3.
Job chapter 15 and verse 3. Should he reason with unprofitable talk?
Should the Most High reason with what?
Unprofitable talk.
Oh, what you got? Get Matthew 12 and 36. Should the Most High reason with unprofitable talk? What you say? You say yes or no? Which one? No. Right? Matthew 12 and 36. There's some reason.
Matthew 12 and 36. But I say unto you that every idle word.
That every what?
Idle word.
That every idle word that what?
That men shall speak.
He shall what?
They shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment.
You got to give an account for everything that come out of your mouth. So why, when it comes to judgment, will he reason with unreasonable talk? Do you understand that everything that you say can and will be used against you in the court of law?
That's right.
You understand that, right? That means that you have to choose your words what? Wisely. And now, if you do say something out of your mouth, you have to be held accountable for it. Let's go back to that Job 15. Let's see what he said. Job 15, 34 again.
Verse 3.
Wherever we was at. Yes, verse 3. Verse 3, I'm sorry.
Job 15 and 3. Should he reason with unprofitable talk, or with speeches wherewith he can do no good?
When he what?
Should he reason with unprofitable talk, or with speeches wherewith he can do no good?
Go ahead.
Yea, thou castest off fear, and restraineth prayer before Elohim, for El. For thy mouth uttereth thine iniquity.
Your mouth do what?
Uttereth thine iniquity.
When you lie, guess what you're trying to do?
Cover up sin.
Trying to cover up something. Your mouth is speaking of your own iniquity. You are separating yourself from the Most High using your lips. Drop down to verse 34. Oh, go ahead.
Thine own mouth condemneth thee, and not I. Yea, thine own lips testify against you.
They do what?
Testify against you.
Because every idle word that you speak, you got to give account for in the day of judgment. So the words that you already let go is the words that's going to be used to say, well, he said this, he said that, he did this, he did, right? So be mindful of what you say. But when we're talking about being held accountable, let's look at verse 34. Watch this.
Verse 34. For the congregation of the hypocrites.
The what now?
Congregation of the hypocrites.
Are you inside of a congregation of hypocrites? Are you one of those people that can't hold yourself accountable? Remember, we coming up on atonement, right? And we understand that first and foremost, we have to atone not only to the Most High, but to who? To our brother, right? If you have to atone for something that you apologized to this person for last year, you didn't atone. If you have to come back and apologize for something that you've done already to the same people, you didn't atone. He said, anybody that don't afflict themselves in this same day shall be what? Cut off from among their people. Accountability is important when it comes to your brother. Because if you actually hold yourself accountable for the things that you've done, that means that you won't do it no more. But some of you will be holding yourself accountable for the same things that you did last year. That's not to say don't hold yourself accountable this year. It's not to say that. But it's to say, don't do it again. Right? Some of you don't hold yourselves accountable with people on a daily basis that you are with. I put something in the inbox the other day and said, a lot of the sorrow that comes from a person, that a person deals with, comes from the person that they're closest around or they're closest with. Right? The saying goes, can't nobody make me mad like you. Why? Because they're the ones that know you. They're the ones that are around you. I'm not around my physical family more than I'm around y'all. I'm not around my family that birthed me more than I'm around the people of the chosen seed. So the sorrow that I feel a lot of times come from stuff that happened right in here. You know about it, right? I done called out and told you. Some of the sorrow that I feel come from stuff that go on in here. Right? So how does your household look? My wife's sorrow was coming from her own husband. My sorrow was coming from my own wife. I blamed it on what she didn't do for me. She blamed it on what I didn't do for her. Neither one taking accountability. Right? Go ahead and read verse 34 again.
Verse 34. For the congregation of the hypocrites shall be desolate, and fire shall consume the tabernacles of the bribery.
He said the fire is going to consume them tabernacles. Read.
They conceive mischief.
They what?
They conceive mischief.
They do what?
Conceive mischief.
And what?
Bring forth vanity.
They conceive mischief and bring forth vanity. What do that sound like to y'all? That sounds like childbearing. Because in order to bring forth something, you have to do what with it first? You got to first conceive. So remember we was talking about the physical and the spiritual. Everything got a physical and spiritual property. So you can conceive mischief and bring forth evil in your actions. Right? Are we following? Are you following me? Get it? Go ahead.
They conceive mischief and bring forth vanity, and their belly.
And their what?
Belly prepareth deceit.
Their belly do what?
Prepareth deceit.
Inside the belly, what is it preparing? It's preparing for you to have this baby. Right? It's holding this child. It's feeding this child. It's preparing the child to be ready for the world. For it to come into the light. So now, when you hold on to these things that you've done, and you're not accountable for it, your belly is preparing it just like it prepares a child. It's holding it in. It's preparing it for it to come out to the light. Everything done in the dark, do what? But if you're not accountable for it when it first happened, it's going to continue to grow. So now when it breaks forth, it's going to be something you never wanted to imagine. But it's going to be normal to you because you already was holding it in. You already was swaying away from it when it first happened. Right? So you conceive mischief. You bear deceit. Psalms chapter 11 and verse 7. Psalm 11, matter of fact, Psalm chapter 7, verse 11. Pick that up there.
Good food out.
Indeed, Todayah. Todayah.
Psalm chapter 7 and verse 11.
Yeah.
Elohim judgeth the righteous.
He do what?
Elohim judgeth the righteous.
Go ahead.
And El is angry with the wicked every day.
You angry with the what?
Wicked every day.
Every single day he angry with him. Read.
If he turn not, he will whet his sword. He hath bent his bow and made it ready.
If you don't turn around, he's giving you the opportunity to turn, right? He gave Adam the opportunity to turn. He gave Eve the opportunity to turn. He gave Saul the opportunity to turn. He gave Aaron the opportunity to turn. Only person he didn't give the opportunity to turn was the serpent. Why? And will you follow after those footsteps? We gotta figure this out. Hold yourself accountable. I'm gonna say accountable 1,000 times today. 1,000. I'm already probably at 250. Read on.
He hath also prepared for him the instruments of death. He ordaineth his arrows against the persecutors.
He did what now?
He ordaineth his arrows against the persecutors.
He's ordaining his arrows to be against the persecutors. So, in order to understand what I'm talking about, I have to put it in terms that man would understand.
That's right.
In your household, when you do something against your spouse that you don't make yourself accountable for, they're holding that in to shoot it back at you when it's time. Right? The more and more you do, it piles up, and it piles up, and it piles up. Y'all talk about it when it actually happened, right? But then once you don't make yourself accountable, I just put that in the files. I can't destroy that paperwork because you didn't fess up. You made it about something else. That's going back in the files. I'm putting a bullet on it. The next time we don't do it again, I'm putting that one in the file. That one got 2 bullets on it. The next time I'm putting it in the file. That one got 3 bullets on it. So now when this stuff breaks forth on something very small, something real small, the gun is loaded already. My finger was this close to the trigger to where you had room before if you would have just made yourself accountable. Now because you didn't, my finger, what they call it, a hair trigger, right? All I gotta do is tap it and it go. It's this close. Now, all you did was say that my macaroni noodles didn't taste like how they did last time because I didn't season them right. Right? Oh, man. What you mean I didn't hold your hand? I thought we talked about this already. What do you mean I didn't take you out on a date? What do you mean I don't care about your feelings? We talked about this months ago. No, you talked about it. But you never understood me. You never cared to understand me. You never cared to get this through you of what I was trying to get you to hold yourself accountable for. And then you on the flip side do the same thing. Well, I did. Well, what about when I asked you to fold my underwear? What about when I said, when I get off work, I want a cooked meal in a clean house? Right? Now, everybody got bullets firing back and forth, shooting each other. Because nobody held themselves accountable when it first came up. Somebody only go and get a gun when they are in fear of something, or when they have to protect themselves against something. A gun should never be held between man and wife. You shouldn't have to protect yourself against your spouse.
That's right.
Nor should I have to protect myself from the people I'm around every week. Right? Because if you hold yourself accountable, verse 35. I mean, no. What verse was you at? Verse 11? Go back to verse 11.
Psalm 7:11.
Psalm 7 and 11.
Psalm chapter 7:11.
Verse 12, I'm sorry.
Verse 12. If he turn not, he will whet his sword. He have bent his bow, and he made it ready.
He don't have to make ready the sword and the bow for you if you just turn from what you're doing. Realize that you're actually committing a crime against him. He said he was pained in his heart for what we do. And we got the audacity to say, oh, Father, I'm sorry, forgive me. And go do it again. Or Father, I'm sorry, forgive me. And go do something else wrong. That means you don't get it. You don't understand. And because you don't understand because you don't see him. He don't tell you, son, I'm not happy with what you did to me. But you got people in your life that tell you that. That actually can come forth and say, I'm not happy with this. And you don't oblige. Read. Verse 13.
Verse 13. He hath also prepared for him the instruments of death. He ordained his arrows against the persecutors. Behold, he travaileth with iniquity, and have conceived mischief.
He what?
Have conceived mischief.
He said he travailed, right? A woman in travail, right? And conceived what now?
Mischief.
Read.
And brought forth falsehood.
And brought forth what now?
Falsehood.
A lot of times when you do something wrong, the first thing that you do is lie about it. That's a common thing that keep popping up in these scriptures, right? When you conceive this wrongdoing, your mouth gets you in some type of trouble. Even if it's a little white lie. Keep reading.
He made a pit and digged it, and is fallen into the ditch which he made.
Which who made?
Which he made.
Which the other person made for him.
He made.
You dug this on your own. I didn't give you a shovel right off. I told you to tell me what you did wrong. And instead of just telling me what you did wrong, you went over there and grabbed the shovel yourself. Read.
His mischief shall return upon his own head, and his violent dealings shall come down upon his own hate. And I praise Yahuwah according to his righteousness, and will sing praise to the name of Yahuwah Most High.
So, now we understand that we can conceive this wrongdoing, right? This is on a spiritual aspect. We have two Adams, right? The first Adam bore his wife, Eve. The second Adam had to do what? Bear his wife, children of Israel. But when Eve did what she did, he said that when you bring forth a child, it's going to be in what? Sorrow. So when Mashiach brought us forth, it had to be in what? In sorrow. Let's see this. Get 1 John chapter 3 and verse 4. Let's pick this up. Let's see what we got going on. 1 John chapter 3 what? 1 John chapter 3 and verse 4.
1 John chapter 3 and verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law. And ye know that he was manifested to take away our sins, and in him is no sin. Whosoever abideth in him.
So he was made to take away sin. That's what he was created for. This wasn't going to be an easy task. This wasn't going to go through as smoothly as Adam falling asleep and his wife coming through and he being happy to see her. This wasn't going to be that easy. Right? Read.
Whosoever abideth in him sinneth not.
Whosoever do what?
Abideth in him.
Do what?
Sinneth not.
They don't sin. They sin not because what?
Whosoever sinneth have not seen him, neither known him. Little children, let no man deceive you. He that doeth righteousness is righteous.
So you know what people are saying when they don't want to hold themselves accountable? Well, I only did this because ain't nobody perfect. How many times have you said that before? I know I have. Ain't nobody perfect, right? But somebody's imperfection don't cause you not to be perfect. In order for you to be held accountable, now it's time for you to change those things that are imperfect with you. If you blame your imperfections on other people's imperfections, you don't get it. You not holding yourself accountable, that way you can't be a seed of the Most High. Let's keep reading.
He that committeth sin is of the devil.
Is what?
Is of the devil.
So, we got two things being done right here. One, Mashiach is bringing forth children. And we got the devil bringing forth children. Right? One makes you a seed of the devil. The other one makes you a seed of the Most High. Right? This is what we've been talking about. Honor your father and your mother. Being the son of the Most High. Being children of the Most High. Right? Keep reading.
He that committeth sin is of the devil. For the devil sinned from the beginning.
He did what?
Sinned from the beginning.
He said he sinned from the beginning. He made him keep his sin. Read.
For this purpose the Son of Elohim was manifested, that he might destroy the works of the devil.
So now, the works of the devil caused Eve to not be accountable. The works of Eve caused Adam to not be accountable. So her punishment was pain in childbearing. So Mashiach, taking your accountability for you, has to go through what? Pain, sorrow, and childbearing. We're going to see this in a minute, right? Keep reading.
Verse 9. Whosoever is born of Elohim.
Whosoever is what?
Born of Elohim.
This is childbirth, right? Read.
Do not commit sin.
They what?
Do not commit sin.
Because after a woman goes through a childbirth of a son or of a daughter, and that child grows up, can that child say, Mama, love you to death? Why don't we go through this whole thing all over again? I'm going to get back in your stomach. You're going to have me, whatever pain you went through before, you know what I'm saying? That's what we're going to do again. Are you going to agree to that, mamas? No. The pain I went for you for 53 hours on that table and crying and hollering and screaming, I ain't going through that again. Right? So, who are we to say after we are born of Mashiach to tell him to go through those pains again? Who are we? So he says that the people that are born of him, what?
Sinneth not.
They don't sin. Read.
Whosoever is born of Elohim do not commit sin, but his seed remaineth in him.
His seed do what?
Remaineth in him.
Because now his seed remains in him. Why would he give you a day of atonement to forgive you of all your sin if he wanted you to go back and do it again? Anybody know? He wouldn't want you to go back and continue to sin over and over again. That's why he gave you the break. Because if I don't give you this day, I'm going to murder you. I'm going to kill you if I don't give you this. I'm giving you a way out for you to just become accountable for your actions. Because on the Day of Atonement, what you got to do? Confess. I just want you to be accountable. I just want you to admit it. But still, it's hard for us to do it. And there's a reason behind that. But we'll get to that on the next lesson. Keep reading.
Whosoever is born of Elohim do not commit sin, for his seed remaineth in him, and he cannot sin because he is born of Elohim. In this the children of Elohim are manifested, and the children of the devil, whosoever doeth not righteousness is not of Elohim, neither he that loveth not his brother.
So, if you don't love your brother, remember we're talking about atonement, right? So if you do unrighteousness towards the Most High, then you don't love him. If you're doing unrighteousness to your brother, according to what we just went through, you're actually doing unrighteousness to who? The Most High, right? So hold yourself accountable. That don't just mean the people in this room. That means the people in your house. Or I'm going to just let you be bad just because. That's not how that works. What if they're a child of the Most High and you're offending a child of the Most High? What does he say? If you offend one of these, my children, you better off having a
millstone
hung to what?
Your neck.
And draw to where?
The feet.
Come on now.
That's right.
That's right.
Hallelujah.
Indeed. So if you offend one of his children, that means you better go and make it right. Because this millstone you can't see. Make sense? You can't see this one. You can't say, Father, I'm sorry, while he putting it on you. You don't know what he's doing. Right? Keep reading.
Verse 13. Marvel not, my brethren, if the world hate you. We know that we have passed from death unto life, because we love the brethren. He that loveth not his brother abideth in death.
Abide where?
In death.
So again, we're talking about being accountable with the people that's around you. If you don't own up to what you've done to man, how can he expect for you to truly own up and change what you've done to him? So if you don't do right by your brother, he says that you abide in death. Right? Get John, the 16th chapter, and verse 15. Pain and sorrow in childbirth. 16, 15.
John chapter 16 and verse 15. All things that the Father hath are mine. Therefore said I, that he shall take of mine and shall shew it unto you.
He said he gonna take of my stuff and do what? Show it to you. He gonna give it to you. Read.
A little while, and ye shall not see me. And again, and a little while, and ye shall see me.
So you're not gonna see me. Then you gonna see me. Read.
Because I go to the Father.
Yeah.
Then said some of his disciples among themselves, what is this that he saith unto us?
No, what you talking about? What you mean I'm gonna see you, then not see you, and then see you? What you talking about? Read.
A little while, and ye shall not see me. And again, a little while, and ye shall see me. And because I go to the Father. They said therefore, what is this that he saith? A little while. We cannot tell what he saith.
What did he just tell him that he was gonna do? What did he tell him he was gonna do?
He was gonna leave and come back and leave again.
I'm gonna leave because I gotta go to my Father, and then I'll be back. Is that hard to understand? Is that hard to understand? No. But as a man, it's hard to get, because how in the world is you gonna go to your Father, which we know is Yahweh? Say it again. He gonna die. They didn't understand what he was saying. Read.
Verse 19. Now Yahusha knew that they were desirous to ask him. Desirous to ask him. And said unto them, do you inquire among yourselves of that I said, a little while, and ye shall not see me? And again, a little while, and ye shall see me?
He said, y'all asking amongst yourselves what's going on, right? Read.
Verily, verily, I say unto you, that ye shall weep and lament.
You shall what?
Weep and lament.
You're going to cry. Read.
But the world shall rejoice, and ye shall be sorrowful.
You shall be what?
Sorrowful.
You shall be what?
Sorrowful.
So, he said you're going to weep and lament, and you're going to be sorrowful, right? And what?
But your sorrow shall be turned into joy.
Your sorrow going to be turned into joy. Do this got anything to do with childbirth? Let's see. Read.
A woman when she is in travail.
A woman when she is in what?
Travail.
What's travail, y'all?
Giving birth.
Birth pains. Read.
Have sorrow, because her hour is come.
Uh-huh.
But as soon as she delivereth of the child, she remembereth no more the anguish or the joy that a man is born into the world.
Wow. So after this travail happens, after that sorrow, when that woman sees that child and hold that child in their arms, I don't know, because I ain't never went through it. I'm just asking y'all. I'm just reading what the book says. Does it soften the blow? Right? Because all of the work that I done did, all that pushing, all that crying, and all that pain, don't amount to what I brought forth. Right? So he said that they're going to go through this. But he got to go through the same thing. Read on.
And ye now know, therefore, have sorrow, but I will see you again, and your heart shall rejoice, and your joy no man taketh from you. And in that day ye shall ask me nothing. Verily, verily, I say unto you, whatsoever ye shall ask the Father in my name, he will give it you.
So he told him, I got to go. It's going to pain you. It's going to hurt you. But I got to go. And when I come back, you're going to have joy. Right? Now, what do this got to do with him and childbirth? We understand that they're going to go through sorrow and then joy. But how does he? Where do we got to go to find this at? Got to go to the Genesis, the 35th chapter. What we don't understand is, in order for us to become a son of the Most High, what do we have to have? In order to become a son of the Most High, a child of the Most High, what do you got to have? Ruach. You got to have the Ruach. It's impossible without it. Right? So in order for you to have the Ruach, what had to take place? You got to be born again. But what had to happen before that? Mashiach had to die for you to be called sons or children of the Most High. Right? Genesis chapter 35, pick it up at verse 18.
Genesis chapter 35 and verse 18.
Yeah.
And it came to pass, as her soul was in departing.
Verse 17. 16. Verse 1. No, I'm just playing. Yeah, verse 16.
And they journeyed from Bethel, and there was but a little way to come to Ephraim. And Rachel travailed, and she had hard labor. And it came to pass.
She had what?
Hard labor.
Just like it was promised to the women to have, right? She had hard labor, and what now?
And it came to pass, when she was in hard labor, that the midwife said unto her, Fear not, thou shalt have this son also.
Don't be afraid. You're going to have this baby. She needed some type of comfort to know you're going to have this baby. Right? Read.
And it came to pass, as her soul was in departing.
As her what?
Soul was in departing.
What was happening?
For she died.
She what?
She died.
So while she was giving birth, what happened? She died. In order for her son to live, she went through so much pain that she what? She died. That's a heavy burden. When this son grows up and he asks about his mama, he said, well, what happened to my mom? Well, she fought the good fight. She did everything she could to get you here, and it killed her. That's deep. So now if that same child gets a set of instructions from his mother, right? Knowing that she died for him, how much more is he going to go about doing those instructions? Whole lot more, right? So y'all getting the picture of what's being painted right here, right? Okay, keep reading.
And it came to pass, as her soul was in departing, for she died, that she called his name Benoi.
He said she called his name what?
Benoi.
Look at what that means.
Son of my sorrow.
Son of my what?
Son of my sorrow.
She called his name before she died. The what?
Son of my sorrow.
Son of my sorrow. So, when Mashiach had to go through all of this stuff to please the Most High, get Isaiah 53. Pick it up at the
Isaiah chapter 53 and verse 10. Yet it pleased Yahuwah to bruise him.
It what?
It pleased Yahuwah to bruise him.
So it pleased the Most High to bruise his only begotten son. Wouldn't you call that the son of his sorrow? The Most High was up in the Shamayim going through pain in his heart because of us. So Mashiach was manifested to take away all those things that we had committed. So he in turn took accountability for those things that we did. Right? When he got up there and he died, he took the accountability for you. He stood before his Father and went through that pain for you. Read.
Yet it pleased Yahuwah to bruise him. He hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see seed. He shall prolong his days, and the pleasure of Yahuwah shall prosper in his hand.
Whoa. Run it back.
Yet it pleased Yahuwah to bruise him. He hath put him to grief.
He had put what?
Him to grief.
He put him to grief. He put his son to grief, to sorrow. Read.
When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin.
When he shall make his soul a what?
Offering for sin.
He had to kill him. He made his son an offering for sin, which means he went through the sorrow, right? Read.
He shall see seed. He shall prolong his days.
He shall see what?
Seed.
He shall see seed. So this is, again, pointing you to a childbirth, right? He shall see seed. So he's going to see a baby, and what?
He shall prolong his days.
And what?
And the pleasure of Yahuwah shall prosper in his hand.
So now, when the baby come forth, it's going to prosper in his hand. All of that sorrow, all of that grief goes away. Just like we just read in John the 16th chapter. Right? But he got to be held accountable for the stuff that we did. So how did he go through this sorrow? We look at it like this was just a man that was able to take this stuff because he was the son of the Most High. He was the son of the Most High. He was strong enough to go through it. I appreciate you for doing it, and thanks. That's not the thanks he should get, because he was a man like you and me. The book said that what other man you know would have died for, he said, scarcely a man that died for a righteous man. So who you know will come and die for a bunch of sinners like us? He bore pain and grief. Get Matthew 26. Verse 40. Matter of fact, verse 36. So Adam gave birth, or started his birth, in the Garden of Eden. Right? The punishment of sorrow and pain bearing for a woman was given in the Garden of Eden. Let's see what happens here. 26 and 36.
Matthew chapter 26, verse 36. Then cometh Yahushua with them unto a place called Gethsemane.
Wasn't Gethsemane a garden? What got to be fulfilled every which way? Read.
And saith unto his disciples, sit ye here while I go and pray yonder.
Mashiach never needed nobody for nothing throughout his walk. But because he know what's coming, he asking them, y'all just sit here. Just chill here. Right? Just chill here while I go and pray. Read.
And he took with him Peter and the two sons of Zebedee, and began to be sorrowful.
He began to be what?
Sorrowful.
He began to be what?
Sorrowful.
Because it was about time for him to deliver. He began to be sorrowful and what?
And very heavy.
And what?
Very heavy.
He was going through travail. Read.
Then saith he unto them, my soul is exceeding sorrowful.
It's what?
Exceeding sorrowful.
Unto what?
Even unto death.
In order for this woman to bring forth her son and to call him the son of my sorrow, she had to do what?
Die.
Mashiach came to destroy the works of sin so he can bring forth the seed that was going to abide in him, that was sin not. So in order for him to do that, he had to do what?
Die.
Verse 38.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then saith he unto them, my soul is exceeding sorrowful, even unto death.
He was a regular man. He understood, I got to go through something. I got to get killed. In order for them to be made whole, I got to be accountable for all of their actions. The wrath of the Most High had built up so much that he had to send his own son down. This ain't just good enough to just send him into captivity and beat on him for a little while and bring him back. I can't keep doing that because it's pissing me off more and more. I sent my only begotten son. Read.
Tarry you here and watch with me.
Just wait here and watch with me. That's all I want y'all to do. When have Mashiach asked anything like this in this book? Up until this point. It was starting to get to him. That's why he said he was exceedingly sorrowful. Read.
And he went a little further and fell on his face and prayed, saying, O my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will.
That thing that was in him in his flesh said, Father, let this thing pass from me. But just like that woman that was helping Rachel give forth her child and said, you're going to have this baby. The Ruach kicked in him and said what? Not as I will, but as you will. Right? He needed something. So when he says that thing that is with me, my Father is going to give to you. So what held him up in this time of sorrow was the Ruach. So in order for you to be a son and have this Ruach held upon you, he had to die for him to even give it to you. Read.
And he cometh unto the disciples and findeth them asleep.
Oh, man.
And saith unto Peter, what? Could you not watch with me 1 hour?
I've never seen, as I'm watching the scriptures, reading about Mashiach, him act like this. Never seen it. But he said, man, what? You couldn't just wait for me? Because he's going through travail. He's going through sorrow. Read.
Watch and pray that ye enter not into temptation. The spirit indeed is willing,
But the what?
but the flesh is weak. He went away again the second time and prayed, saying, O my Father, if this cup may not pass away from me except I drink it, thy will be done.
Read.
And he came and found them asleep again.
So now, the Ruach done set in. Now he knows I got to go and bear the sins of this people. I got to become accountable for them. The Ruach done set in. And he said he came back and he seen what?
Them sleep again.
He seen them sleep again. The first time he seen them sleep, he said what? Hey, you couldn't just watch for me a little minute? But when the Ruach set in, what did he say?
And he came and found them asleep again, for their eyes were heavy. And he left them and went away again, and prayed the third time, saying the same words.
So he went, he was like, you know what? I don't need him to watch for me no more. I understand what I got to do. Right? Read.
Then cometh he to his disciples and saith unto them,
What he said?
Sleep on
Do
now.
what?
Sleep on now, and take your rest. Behold, the hour is at hand.